Good morning and welcome to the Nofo Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my two co-hosts Kelly from Nofo Endless Summer and Tracy from Miss Tracy Kessler, we hop on every Friday for 30 minutes, chatting about everything North Fork. And speaking of North Fork, it is so hot, 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 hot. I mean, it's great. I'm not complaining, but it's definitely hot. So, for sure, needed. Try to be in the water rather than, although right now I'm in the air conditioned room.
Good
Good morning. How are
morning.
you?
Good. How are you?
Are you feeling the heat?
Oh, yes. I was just going to say, I have my air conditioning on too, so I don't know if you're going to hear that, but
I
yes.
do. I mean, I was thinking I'll sit outside because it's so pretty, and then I was like, I don't think
No,
so. It's like I think it's 84 already,
which is
um,
crazy.
which is great. I mean, great, crazy, great though. No
Yeah,
complaining. I'm loving the heat.
me too. Today's a beach day for Tilly and I. I know you
Awesome.
said you missed having her on the show. I don't know what's happening with my filters here. Please, I don't know what's happening.
You're on
Um,
some filter.
there's like some
I didn't
crazy
even know
thing.
you could put a filter on a live. This is news to me.
Oh,
You
you
can.
can, but like usually I put the same filter on and I don't know what's happening, but some like weird cockamamie thing just came up. I don't know. Anyway, I did bring Tilly. She's here to participate today, but she's playing with her toys, so I'm gonna let her play and then I'll bring her on later. So you know.
Awesome. Yeah, I do. I miss
Hi,
seeing her.
Good morning,
Good
Verona.
morning.
Hi,
Uh,
Verona.
good
I definitely
morning.
miss seeing her sweet face. Sometimes, you know what's scary? I even forget that she's there because we've gotten so
She's
used
such a
to
good
her sweet.
baby. That's why.
She's
Yeah.
adorable. She's
Oh,
adorable. Every time I get a chance to hang with her, it's my happy day. Oh,
Yes.
yay. That's
well,
so
welcome,
nice.
Verona. We're so happy to have you on. For those who don't know, Verona is an artist and she paints. I met you, I believe, at the business networking meeting that we have. I mean, I think I saw you on Instagram, but that's where I met you. And for those of you who are small business owners locally and don't know about this, Mel from Arnie Paper, he started a group where we meet once a month, and it's a great way for local business owners to connect. So if you want to join our next meeting, DM us and we'll add you to that. Um, but what I was going to say was when I met Verona and you were giving a little, just a 2-minute update on what you do, I feel like your energy and your way
Mm.
of explaining or talking, I was mesmerized and I was like,
Ah.
whatever it is you're doing, I want to be a part of.
I
So I'm
know.
so glad you're here. So tell us all about, in your words, who you are, what you do, how you got here.
Wait, before you do that, I have to give my Verona story. My
Yes,
Verona
Okay.
we
story.
should all give a Verona
Yes.
story.
My Verona story is that I participated in a photography, it was an art exhibit, and I did photography, and I was feeling very sort of insecure because I'm not really a photographer by trade, and I was trying to go in the mindset of like, you are an artist if you say you are, so go ahead and put it out there. And Verona, you were so welcoming to me, and I was like, oh, she's like a real artist, so and you were so welcoming and so kind and so helpful, and really, like Sunita was saying, like your aura and your vibe just comes through in your personality, and it comes through in your art, and it's really just, it's you're a
Mm.
wonderful person to be around.
Oh,
And,
oh
and you
my
have
God.
such a soft expression of it. It's, like I can be like, so you hear me. You are soft spoken and gentle, and yet all of that energy does come through. So I just wanted you
Oh,
to know that.
I don't know if you've ever felt like when you are in the presence of someone that they are just have like a calming effect. And
Yes.
that's what I feel like every time I even like watch Verona on her Instagram feed, but like every time I see her in real life, it's like she has this whole like aura of calmness around her. I love it. She
Tell
needs
us
oh,
to
how
rub
you
it
get
off
that,
on us
Verona.
because
How do you get that
we are
calmness?
not calm.
thank you. This means a lot to me because sometimes I have a hard time expressing what I want to say. So you saying that you get it, I think it's more like an energy thing, and you understand. Like I don't even have to say anything, you're feeling it, and that's
Yeah.
the whole thing, right?
Right.
And I do my best to articulate in words, especially in English, but
Mhm.
I'm so honored. Thank you for your words. It's amazing to hear you say all these things.
Of course.
How I got to feeling so calm, there's so many answers to that, but one way which is ties in into the workshops, creating abstract paintings, it's allowing what's happening in the moment to happen. So being a witness of what's happening in the moment, it's easier to say, but it takes practice, and we do it sometimes, especially when we're doing what we love, right? I'm sure when you're holding your baby, that's like as much presence and peace and love as you can feel. But we can accomplish it different ways doing what we love. So in these workshops, what I'm doing mainly is sharing what my practice, which is painting, and sharing a way of doing it with everyone. Like it's kind of like a window of what I do. It's like a little teaser of what I do in my own practice, but in a smaller way, in a smaller format, and with a medium that's called alcohol ink, which is a medium that for me, it's kind of the teacher. If you allow it, it will teach you this presence and this way. And I'm just kind of like a translator of the medium, because the medium, like I said, is kind of an energy. It's moving, it's changing, it's being guided by you, but it doesn't speak. So I'm there just to like say a few things and guide you and invite you to do a few exercises and let you know how to use it. But the whole journey and the whole practice in the workshop, it's you with the medium. And I think from there, a lot of things can happen, and a lot of learnings can happen if you allow it. So I can go from there and let you know more things that happen
So
there, but I don't
my
know if you have a
input,
question.
as you're describing, my input is that we should perhaps replace the word workshop with art therapy, because to some degree, that is what you are providing. Just, everything you're talking about. I loved how you used the word practice, because to me, I immediately thought of yoga and how people who do yoga talk about it as a practice. And it's not something you do once and then it's done. It's something you continually experiencing / experimenting, and then it will be what it will be. And as you're talking, exactly those thoughts about yoga kept coming into my head.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So it is.
I haven't attended one of your art therapy sessions, and the dates just haven't worked for me, but it is totally on my calendar for August or September. I hope you continue these classes.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that you say therapy, and it's always wonderful when, in my head, I understand everything, but then what are the feedback, right? Like what's people experiencing? Because I have an idea and I'm trying to bring it to you, but when people come after the workshops, and in my head it's like, oh, they're coming to have fun, they're coming to paint, on the more like broader spectrum, but at the end they tell me like they feel so calm, or they feel so relaxed, and they feel, last time lady said that she felt like she had a massage, and like I'm like, this is amazing, this is great.
I love that. I think
So,
one of a lot of people's goals is to be more in the moment, like you said. And I feel like your workshops really allow that to happen, to be in the moment, to slow down, to forget about what's going on in the world around you or in your world, and just taking that time to like do what you're feeling and do what you're needing in the moment. And I think we all kind of, whether it's a workshop or yoga or whatever, we all need that. And you're bringing that opportunity to people. So that's such a gift,
Yes, thank you.
And you're doing these classes at the Soundview?
Yes, the moment in the summer, they're going to be at Soundview. So at the moment, August is the last month. We haven't renewed the agreement, but we might probably keep doing it there, maybe once a month. And I say we because my friend Melissa from Plants and Clay does clay workshops as well, which is another way of being creative and another way of stepping into the moment. But the process is a little different, obviously, because it's clay and you have an end product. So I totally recommend it as well. But yeah, it's a sound view, so it's great because you're overlooking the sound, and it's just like the biggest, like, you might as well just tune into yourself by looking at the water, which we all have the opportunity but doing here. But also just tapping into what you said, Kelly, the medium it's kind of new in the art market. It's the ink where markers have, so it's like an ink,
Oh, okay.
and we use it on a non-porous surface. So
Okay.
that means that it's literally like the ink flows through
Hmm.
the paper, and it's hard for me to describe it. You have to experience it, but just looking at the colors like melt away and mixed into each other is such a like organic effect, and literally flow, that they just rapture your attention. They take you over. So
I mean, just
it's kind of,
looking at the beautiful art that you make and the participants make, I am enraptured by looking at it. So I
Yeah,
can't even imagine the process of it, right, Tracy?
yes,
I'm
And
in. It's amazing.
And I
Yeah.
think one of the
yeah,
things you mentioned about the abstract art, and I think you talked about it at the web, was that you're not trying to duplicate or recreate something. Like for me, drawing, when I think of drawing, my hurdle is, people draw horses, and I can't imagine being able to draw the shape, draw the thing. So then I'm like, I'm not an artist. But in terms of abstract art, you're not trying to recreate anything. So it just creates.
yes.
Flows, yeah.
Yeah, and art can be very intimidating, especially if, like, I can show you this painting, or a horse, a very realistic, as you said, a realistic can be very intimidating for a lot of people. But abstract, and the way I teach you through this medium, it's so welcoming for everyone, and it's a way to embrace. I like to say we embrace the unknown. So as we're in the present moment, it doesn't really matter what happens next, and you most likely are going to be surprised by the result. So it's great because anybody can come, haven't painted since kindergarten or whatever, and they will be the people that most likely do that, they're so surprised with what they create. And it's actually some of the people that let themselves experiment even more because they don't have a constraint, right?
Yeah.
Some of us, and I say include myself, I have this idea or this direction of what my art looks like, or the color, or like I have a line already I'm following. So that could be a little restrictive for me sometimes, because I might not use some colors, or some like I restrain myself, as if someone is just like, oh, I'm just playing and experimenting. That's where creativity just like flows and like splashes everywhere, and it's great.
I love
So
that.
is the painting behind you that this type of art that you're doing in the workshops, or is that
Excuse me?
medium? Is the painting behind you the same medium?
It's not the same medium, but I sat here just as an idea of, this is kind of like large format with
Yeah.
acrylic though.
Okay.
But the practice, it's very similar. Like I'm working with a lot of water. I'm letting the paint flow. I let the water go the direction it wants to go. I do choose the colors, which you do in the workshop too. Like and I do a lot of like life parallels, and that's maybe where therapy comes along. This is like my jam, doing life things.
Yeah.
But like, we can control certain things in our lives, like what color to use, but where to put them. But most likely life is gonna push us to different ways or different areas, or give us a little bit of that, a little bit of there. So that's where the beautiful of the unexpected, and allowing that to happen, it's where we get surprised, right? So I do use that ideas in my practice as well, and a lot of flow. I do a lot of flow because that's what feels good to me.
Verona, I want to hear
Yeah,
more about your art, where we can get your art, where you do, where you're located, where you do, I know you have a studio. Tell us
yeah.
more about your art.
Thank you. I have a studio in Greenport. It's a small studio near First and South, so on South Street. I'm there almost every day, but open to the public. I like to open a few hours in the weekends. So if you're ever around Greenport, you can come and see what I'm working on. I'm working on a new collection right now, so there's no painting shown at the moment anywhere, but you can come and see what I'm working on there. And I do have a few little paintings in the living room from a previous collection.
Mhm.
I said the word wrong, but
where can
anyway.
someone, if we walk in, or if someone who's watching the show just decides they want to have a piece of your art therapy in their home that you created, where can they buy one?
Well, you can contact me directly and I can show you some of the paintings I have available. I don't sell the little ones that the alcohol ink ones. I normally give those if you buy a bigger sale. I use them like as cards or for other things. I don't use them as a final. But I do have a few, I do have paintings available for sale. If you contact me through my website, you can find them as well. My website is my name, veronapenalba.com. And I'll send you what I have available, which is a mix of abstract work, which is my new work, what I've been focusing lately, and figurative work of past years, which is what I've done like the earlier 15 years of my art career. And I have done this shift to abstract the last 6 years. And what I'm focusing right now, again, I'm in the moment, so I don't know where it's going, but right now this is where I'm feeling in tune with and what I want to express.
Out of curiosity, what caused the shift? Do you know?
Yes, I can tell you exactly. So 6 years ago, my daughter was born, and I moved to the North Fork with no family, no nothing. So I was in Nassau Point. Actually, I did have a family that took us over and rented us a little house so we could have a safe place. But I'm sure you experienced this, Tracy. And Kelly, I'm not sure if Sunita has kids, but anyway, at least for me, when I had my daughter, I felt like around 6-7 months, I felt that myself, the persona I had created in this world, didn't matter. It disappeared. So I had a full sense of like, what is it? It's like a connection to the source, kind of. And I think our kids allow us that because they are so pure and so wonderful. So then I started experimenting with pour painting, which is another way of having a lot of fun. I started experimenting with the inks, and that allowed me to break from that figurative and that like structure that I had in my head, that I thought this is the only way I can. Actually, abstract paintings intimidated me so much. Even being an artist, I could not understand how artists got there. Like I didn't know, like, what, you just splash some paint and like call it a day? Like what? Like I had no, like I literally was like blindfold. I had no idea, but something happened that melted away, and I gave myself the opportunity to just play. So at the beginning I was just playing, and through the years I touched on different ways to apply the paint, and this one feels the most true to myself, which is with a lot of water and a lot of flow, which it's really like I am in life. I'm very go with the flow. I'm very easygoing. So
Well,
it's like finding a language.
once you have kids, even when you have life plans, you have no choice but to either go with the flow or just constantly feel like you're hitting a hurdle on each single time. So I love how you equated the two, and I also love how in tune you are to yourself and recognizing what is happening within and outside. I just love it.
Thank you.
I had this, when you were describing your studio, I was totally had this vision in my head of the three of us sitting there with you on our own private art therapy session. And I can't wait. It happen.
We could do that. Totally do that.
We
in
are
the
going
garden.
we
We can do that in a private session in the garden of the studio, which is the garden of the house. My friend also, he lets me just play there. And just to do a little plug in on the therapy, because I see that you're like really tuning to it. I fell in love almost 2 years ago with a type of therapy called IFS, and it's a long to explain, but I loved it so much that I study it and I can practice it now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and this therapy, in many words, what it allows you to slowly arrive to that center. Imagine like the center is kind of like your spirit, your soul, your true self. imagine it's like the sun, and we all have it, but we have clouds, and it's all the conditioning, all the stories we make to ourselves, or critic, all the clouds you can imagine that makes us, So through the therapy, you can talk to these parts, to these clouds, and let that sun shine on. And it's been very transformative to me, and that's what I can connect to. And I think that's what you feel when you're near me. Thank you. It's just that calm and that peace, that confidence, and that knowing that it's okay to be myself and to express through these parts that I've learned to be, express myself the most truthfully I can.
I love
Obviously, yeah.
that analogy of the clouds and the sun, because I'm a very visual person, and when you think of clouds, they're not there all the time. They're constantly moving, and they move, over where you are, and then they pass on and they go. And during the time that they're there, it's gray and dark and, tumultuous. And then once they go, the sun comes out behind it. So what a beautiful way to think about something that you're working through in your life right now, that it's just a cloud and it's passing by, but it's not there forever. That's such a beautiful way to look at life.
Yes.
But they're also light and fluffy and don't always have to be dark and threatening. There's so many different layers of it. I wanted to throw a comment in there. Horton Flower Farm commented that they would like to invite us to come paint, especially you, I guess, to paint in their flower farm. So using some of the flowers as inspiration for color. So maybe, Verona, we can connect.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, I think she sent me a message. I saw it this morning.
Awesome.
I'm also doing a new workshop. I don't know if we have time, but
we have all day for you.
Okay. I like to do these blueprints, cyanotype. I do them for bags and just for fun. And it's a really easy practice where you use this liquid, let it dry, and then use flowers or anything that creates a shadow. Ooh. Put it in the sun, and it creates a print. It's a blueprint. Ooh. So it's also a very easy way of creating something, which if you can tell, I love the things that just like easy flow. You have to take in count a few things, so that's why I'm there. So I'm doing a few of those next week, and we could use flowers and leaves and
very
things.
excited about that class because she
really wants to be in that club. We all heard her.
I'm gonna get her. Sunita, why don't you kick off the Nofo section and I'll grab Tilly.
Okay, so one of the things we do as part of the show each week is we try to get different perspectives from every guest. So we ask the same 5 questions so we can get different answers. And it really isn't about picking a favorite. It's just about your experience and what you're enjoying. So if you were going to take, because you're painting so much with alcohol inks, obviously don't drink those inks, people. If you're going to take us to a vineyard or a brewery, or is there a local one that you enjoy?
Yeah, I love Chronicle wines in Peconic for many reasons. One is that it's women owned, and Erin and Robin are the ones that make the wine. So most likely you will find them, and they talk about what they do with so passion, and it's their thing, So it's like I'm very honored to know them and know their wine, and also they feature artists all the time. And they have all type of wines. Their variety is it's great. So I would say Chronicle. Hi.
Nice. I'm sorry, I have to wave at her. She is smiling. She's like, hello,
happy to be here.
She knows it. She knows what's happening. Oh my God. Hello, little sunshine.
Say hi. Say hello. She's excited. We go to story time after this. So she's very excited for story time. Oh. All right. So if we were all going to go out to lunch, Verona, or out to dinner, where would you take us? Where would you suggest?
Oh, okay. So I thought where I go, I will take you. It's a very local place called Tikal in Greenport.
I love it.
It's a Latin spot. The spot is not as glamorous. It's actually very dark in there. But I love eating pupusas and tostadas there. And I'm from Nicaragua, so it's kind of like once a week I go there and feel like I'm back in my area of the world. So yes.
Nice.
Well,
Verona, do you cook at home? Do you ever frequent the farm stands? What's your favorite farm stand to go to?
So I do cook at home. My friend has a little garden here, so she grows the vegetables. So that's my local farm stand. But I
Wow.
do, yeah, I do stop sometimes at one of my favorites is River Farms. They have a new little hut that you can come in and just write down what you took and put the money in there. And they have amazing berries and different veggies, so and eggs and jams. So I love everything they do.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. They also have, I mean, that hut has been there forever, but when they made the post, it's like suddenly they just discovered, like, duh, we could make that into the farm stand because they used to put it out in the open for the shade and whatever before. But
Yeah.
I say probably most people know Treber if they don't know it by name. It's that big, iconic, rusty truck that's parked there with the U.S. flag, and you can't miss it if you're driving down that street. But one of the other things they also have, I guess it's a community garden, but it's really a garden that is put to the side and they grow, and then all of that food is, I believe, donated to food pantries and churches and whatever. So it's fresh produce that donated. So that's an awesome concept too. I don't know how you can necessarily join it, but every time I drive past it, it just makes me smile that we're growing fresh food, fresh fruit and vegetables, just to give it away.
Yeah, they are very involved with different areas of the community. And Pete Triver, the son, he's also an artist. So he's always creating events from poetry to dances and tea ceremony, like all type of creative things that it's very enriching, I feel, for our culture. So that's my number one farm.
He actually has some of his work on display in the VSOP gallery. I was just there the other day.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful woodworking stuff in there.
Yes.
Sunita, you want to ask about our sunsets?
So you're very connected to the water, obviously, with the flow.
Yeah.
Do you wake up early to catch a sunrise, or is sunset your thing?
So,
and do you have some secret spots?
Yeah. I'm just gonna brag on my room. Looks at the water, so you can see. So that's where I see the sunset.
Ooh,
There.
that's
So
awesome.
the sun comes out on this window. So if I leave the window open, it will wake me up, and I'll just see the little gradients of colors there. So I don't have to go anywhere. I go there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That sums up the Nofo life. So that leads into our last and final question. Why do you love being a part of the North Fork community?
I think this, like, feeling the connection with people that are so authentic like you and that come from different walks of life. It just makes me feel so warm and welcome. I've been here 6 years and I still meet new people all the time, which amazes me. And the small town vibe, it's I'm very into it. Being able to bike to my studio or to a supermarket in the summer, going to the beach, I think we all feel it. And it's one of those things, there's really no words, but we feel it. We feel home, and we feel, I guess, protected here in a way. So I guess that's what I say.
Well,
And connected and protected.
we feel your wonderful energy, Verona. I'm so grateful for coming on and sharing your life and your art, talent, and your therapy with us. I look forward to hopefully being at your studio soon and creating and just having my own session therapy with you.
I would love that. I would love we do a little private session.
That's good. Well, enjoy your weekend, ladies. And
wait, before we hang up, we have to talk about Brick Cove this weekend. I'll be there all day Saturday. Brick Cove trucks, beer, wine, lawn games, you name it. So come down 12 to 5, Brick Cove Marina in Southold on Sage Boulevard.
Sounds like so much fun.
All day.
So much going on, and the weather is perfect for it. It just sounds like perfect something to do this weekend.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Verona.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, ladies. Bye.
Bye.